Hey guys, today I'm gonna bunch up day 5 and day 6 of my 30-day fast because they were really positive days. I was really in a good mood, Friday was the 5th, today's Saturday's the 6th day. Went to work all day. It was a little hard. When I was at work, my boss asked, "Hey, do you need anything?" And I thought he was kidding. I thought it was like work related. So I'm like, I could use some coffee, right? So on that day, and he never does this. And I even told him when he came back, he brought some donuts. I was like, I didn't share with anybody at work that I am doing a 30-day fast till 9 o'clock. So I guess, some people that aren't as spiritually inclined will see you as being weird. Like, I'm the type of person that I don't care. I don't care what people think of me. I'll share what I gotta share. If you think I'm crazy, then you think I'm crazy. At the end of the day, I know who I am, right? So yes, on this day, he brought donuts from Taco John's. Like, he hasn't, brought us food in a long time. We usually get around our birthdays. We usually get to order out for everybody to have lunch together. So then I told them, I'm fasting. I'm sorry. I would love to eat them, but at 9 o'clock, they're not going to taste the same as they do at 11, right? So I'm like, but you eat them, And I told them, it's when you're fasting that the devil normally tries to tempt you with food. So I was like, all right. It was a beautiful day. Throughout the day, I felt like I received insight on what to pray for my husband on my 5th and 6th day. So on my 5th day, I came across, to pray over, to soften his heart, for God to show up in a way that he perceives him as being real.
Are right here.
I know. Thank you, Carmine. Do you want to say hi? Come over here. And I'm drinking a lot of water too. And I also got stuff like for him to be renewed, because in Christ he is a new creation. And then I also got some Bible verses off of Malachi and Jeremiah, which it just says, that we are new in Christ. And a new believer gets renewed through God's love. Then I also received direction to pray over him for just the boldness to come upon him, for pride to be broken, because with him not getting a hold of me this long, you can only imagine, I found out something that was true, not through a person. I can only imagine what he's thinking, In the letter he said, God is trying to tell you that I'm not good for you. In reality, God was only trying to bring light to the lie, because he hates lies, because Satan is the one that comes to lie, steal, and deceive, and destroy. So lies are not of God. So for me, telling him, asking him, hey, did you speak to somebody and you're doing it behind my back, it was more for the lie to come to light. But he perceived it of, you're not letting me talk to women. And come on. And being Christian brothers and sisters, we have to speak to others about God's love. What we can't be doing is leading them on, which I'm sure it was another one of his little, where he thinks about himself and doesn't think of everyone that's getting affected. Because a decision this drastic to part ways, really influences everybody. Our children will see brokenness. They will see how dysfunctional a marriage can be. I don't want to teach my kids that the minute that you come through a stump on the road, oh, it's quitting time. Of course not. So I also prayed over, for God to fill him with good memories of our relationship, of our marriage, how we met. And somehow I felt like God was touching me. That's funny, but I was having positive memories about him and I and how we started our relationship. It was beautiful. Like, he hit me up on Facebook. He told me about his love for God, and I don't even know how it went on from there. Like, I'm sure if I go through the Facebook messages, I could come up with a timeline for you guys. But, it was interesting that he was the one engaging in talking to me. for a change. And I was playing hard to get because he wasn't my type at the time. But because of his love for God, and like the first time we were together, like, as husband, as becoming one, he told me he loved me on the first night. So I was like, wow. I was like really gonna say thank you, because I didn't feel it yet. I wasn't, Anyways, I know we broke a little bit of the rules just because he lived in Florida. I really felt like God was leading me to him, and because of the colored eyes, he was 5'10" with colored eyes, or 5'11" with colored eyes. Even though he wasn't my type skin wise, I trusted that God knew what he was doing. Anyways, going back to my day. So yeah, Friday night, for my 5th day of fasting, once 9 o'clock came, I did do a lot of devotionals. I probably got to 3 different stories of my devotional book. And the prayers through the Powerful of the Praying Wife by Stormie Omartian, I got through praying over his sexuality, for everything to just function how God created it to function. Yeah. And the story, this book, it comes with a story. Then it comes with the prayer, and then it comes with the tools, like Bible verses for you to meditate on. And as I read the Bible verses, I really just get into this relationship with God, and I feel like I can feel him, that I'm speaking to him and not really speaking to like nobody out in the air. And then, so I prayed over his sexuality, and then I prayed for his affection. And the story was about a man who grew up in a home where the relationship between the parents wasn't affectionate, so the child didn't know how to be affectionate, which my husband, I noticed that when he drinks, he's very affectionate, but when he is just like sober, he's very serious. He's very serious. He does play around, but more so like I'm used to like the guys, just really being pursuing, and of course those were the players. And my husband, I remember even when he would leave the house to the door, I would want to kiss, and he's like, I just kissed you. I'm like, yeah, but now you're leaving, and if you don't give me a kiss right now, something could happen to you, and then you're gonna regret that you didn't give me that last kiss. So I would get my way, right? So yeah, I prayed over his affection. And then for tonight, I'm gonna pray on his temptations, which is one of those that he battles with. The story behind him is back in his days when he used to live out near Mankato, Minnesota. He would pursue a lot of women out in the college towns. So of course, I'm pretty sure he's got a lot of soul ties from probably everyone that he ever slept with, And some of the things that he shared with me, and I'm sharing with you guys in confidence that's going to help somebody. You got to understand that when two people come together, we don't really get to know each other until we live together, and I wouldn't change anything of how my marriage has gone, because every little stumping block has only made us stronger as husband and wife. And at the same time, when you're trying to hold on to something that is not for you to hold on, that God doesn't have in your plans, you're going to go through these stumbling blocks and things are not going to go your way. I've noticed that, there was a time where, I've been standing for my husband since the day we married, but during those first 4 to 5 months, that I didn't feel him being this lovey-dovey person that he didn't know how to be. I had thoughts of, being with my ex, there was one instance where I was already pregnant and I was in the shower and I was crying to God, and that I just didn't feel him being, the person that I thought marriage husband material was going to be. I imagine, the husband being just like the most lovely person ever, but of course he had cord in the back of his head, so he had a lot of stress going on, had to work hard. His mom at the time was guardians of the girls. We were living about 30 minutes away in Austin, and the girls were in Owatonna. So I try to understand a lot of that. Also, he had a hard time. He wasn't fully helping with the bills around the house because he was trying to apparently save up for court to pay some of his debts. I can recall that he helped me pay the internet bill like once, and I told him, me being a standing wife, you leaving me with like nothing to look forward to as far as like, oh, he was this man. All I can say is he paid one computer bill and he built me a closet. And those were the things that made it really hard. That's why I would tell him, take 30 days. Really think about what you want to do, Because I wanted him to be happy as his wife. I wasn't trying to be selfish. I wanted both of us to really see that this is what we wanted. So then we wouldn't have these problems that we're having now. Where, obviously he's been in jail for this long. And I would be really confused too, and you just can't hold on to somebody because she's supporting you through jail, which I was doing for those 2 years. I put money on his books. I sent him at least 10 postcards a month. He pretty much has a lot of postcards I've sent him, where I would write him to encourage him. Sometimes I didn't even want to write him, so I would just look for inspirational stuff on Google, and I would copy it down and send it over because I just wanted him to encourage to always have God's word. So like that was me like feeding the Bible to him. I was trying to push the Bible on him, which this time that we're apart, I know God is doing what he said he was going to do. So now I'm working on God's timing because I ain't trying to rush nothing. There was a lot of fear in me, fear that he was going to turn into this lying person, the problems that we had while he was living here with me, where he would do things behind my back. So then, then I tried searching for, this is what I do, if there's a negative thought in my head, I need to replace it with a positive one. So when I'm thinking, of the mean words in my husband's letter, and how God has been telling me this whole time, my whole marriage, there was a pastor out in Albertley from Hope Church that in one of the calls, what do they call it? The calls, when you come up and you, church calls, well, where you come up and they pray over you, altar calls. So I went up to there at that time. I went up there and I went up there because I was really struggling a lot. I didn't know if this was the right thing for me. I didn't know if my husband was ever going to be this Christian believer that was walking in faith. So I went up there. Really, I went up there because I was drinking and I still like to go out with my friends. I would still go out for the first 3 to 4 months. I went out with my friends to the bars. Got me in trouble a few times, And I went up to the altar call and I was really wanting the pastor to pray over me not wanting to go to the bars. So, the pastor comes over. He's from the Hope Church in Albertley, Minnesota. And he's praying over me that anyone in me to go to the bars, for God to take that from me. And it helped. And it did go away now. I don't feel like I have to go. Before I was like, oh, the weekend's coming up. Who wants to go out? Who wants to go dancing? And I haven't drank alcohol in almost a year and a quarter, year and a half. And because I choose not to. I don't find that need to drink to have fun anymore. So then, before he takes off, he says, and your husband will eventually lead. So ever since then, I've been holding on to that word, that my husband will follow Christ. And I hold on to it. And then there's other times where daily, I'm seeing this rainbow in my room, kind of God's promise that he has this for me to wait on him. And when I see that rainbow, that's when I know, keep it up, believe me. My flesh does not want to stay. My flesh wants to take off and run, and just go on. But this is what I feel led for God to do for me. You know, today I got dressed up. We were gonna go to this art show. Ended up that when I went to the mailbox, I found one of my checks from one of my jobs, and I went to deposit it instead. We went out there in the park, hung out with Satara and some of her friends. Satara is my Carmine's auntie. She's just like 14 or 15. So went out there, kind of enjoyed the air, they ate some ice cream. I wanted to eat some, but I couldn't, even though it was melting in their hands because it was too much. So then, so I got dressed up, you know, through the day. I did my workout. I listened to a lot of worship music. I was listening to some sermons. And like I said, in the times where there's a negative thought coming in, think positive. What I do, I Google Bible verses. Like this one, it's on God's timing. So then I just read through the Bible verses. Like there's Isaiah 40:31. But they who wait for the Lord shall renew their strength. They shall mount up with wings like eagles. They shall run and not be weary. They shall walk and not be faint. And then Psalms 27 says, wait for the Lord, be strong, and let your heart take courage. Wait for the Lord. There was another one. Yep, so this one, Ecclesiastes 8, verse 6 says, for there's a time and a way for everything, although man's troubles lie heavy on him. And in Galatians, it says, Galatians 6, verse 9 says, and let us not grow weary of doing good, for in due season we will reap if we do not give up. So these are some of the Bible verses that I go through, and I look for positive, encouraging verses for me to go through. And it does get difficult. Sometimes I still get, like I mentioned, those negative thoughts, and I replace with these positive, life-giving Bible verses. But you just got to go through and handle this and know that there's hope at the end of the tunnel. There is hope. Whatever God is doing right now, it's the best thing for him to do. I've always heard of other people that are standing. Sheila's husband going back on the BTG movement. I was watching the Backsliding Husband, and he basically let us know, you know, when you wait, let things happen the way they need to happen. Don't be trying to push the Bible on your husband. Don't be trying to send him text message, calling him daily, because he doesn't want to hear it at the time. When God is ready to, you know, to grab on him, touch his heart, and change him, he's going to do it in his own time, and we have no control over that. That's what we need to understand. And imagine this, the perfect timing for my husband to want to part ways, because now he's got time to be over there reminiscing on his own soul on his own. I think as obsessive as I am over God and how I brought it up every single day, I always thought to myself, does he really want this? Does he really want to be, you know, reading the Bible daily? Does he want to really change his choice of music from hip-hop to Christian hip-hop? Does he really want to walk in the straight life? You know, does he want to be a good person, not tell lies, not be deceiving? I thought of all that. I mean, who wouldn't want to? But sometimes we enjoy living out in the world, sinning and whatnot. And I always ask myself, is this something that you really want? And now he's got time to do it all on his own without me having to shove it down his throat, right? So I just want to encourage you guys, you know, keep praying, but don't be obsessively praying, because at the end of the day, we have no control over what's going to happen. Only God does. So you need to understand that. All right? And you know, a good prayer is just submit your husband and your marriage to God for God to do his work that he needs to do. And just let it go and live your life. You know, go have fun with your kids. You know, cuddle them, love them, go out, go watch a movie. Which reminds me, there's a new movie coming out about a man that speaks to God, and he's writing a book about it. So I was going to check that out and see if it's out already. Anyhow, I want to tell you guys, be encouraged, love you guys, and God bless you. Thank you for watching.